Hi guys, my name is Quincy and I want to do this video in reference to Tommy Sotomayor. I've seen a lot of negative videos in regards to Tommy Sotomayor and sprinkle of positive videos. So I want to do a positive video. I had the opportunity of working with Mr. Tommy Sotomayor, so if he sees this, he'll definitely know who I am. We had a shoot in Lawrenceville, Georgia for his documentary Fatherless America. And it's a documentary that I've been wanting to work on. I contacted him before when he was in Phoenix to offer my skills in editing. So I offered to help him edit. We lost contact, and then obviously he was looking for someone to help him in a shoot in Georgia. So contacted him again, and we actually got the link up. So I wanted to address the people that are actually cracking jokes, I guess, about the actual production of the film, saying that it's never coming. You have to understand filmmaking in itself, especially a documentary. I've done films, documentaries, weddings. Let me tell you a little about me. I'm 25 years old. I've done weddings, weddings, feature films, short films. Also been a part of working on documentaries as well. So I think about a documentary, I say it's usually a mess. You have an idea and you have a topic that you want to discuss. And some people come in, they know exactly what they want, and they're lucky enough to get all the interviews they can and put together a whole timeline. And so the production goes by smooth. And then there's other productions to whereas, you get a little over ambitious, which me myself, if I were to do a documentary, I would be very over ambitious. So I would do a lot of interviews. And then after that, it'd be the review process. I'd look at all the shots, see, okay, I might scrap this interview, put it on the chopping board. I'm going to keep this interview. Okay, now I have to interview myself, talk about it, or maybe someone else can actually narrate the documentary itself. But my point is, there's a lot of work that goes into a documentary. There's a lot of, if you knew anything about filmmaking, you know that a lot of productions do not actually take just a year. There's been plenty of films that have came out, which you find out that they maybe only took a year to film it, but they actually took 5 years there was actually 5 years spent in post-production as far as like editing, coloring, sound design, getting the actors in for an ADR session, and also reshoots. There's always reshoots, and a lot of times in those big productions, you'll have your actors come in, but they have multiple projects. So after they're finished shooting your project, they have to go to another project, and so you have to get in touch with that actor and see whenever they have time to, when they have time to come back in order to do a reshoot. So, there's a lot of things that go into shooting a film. I myself, I had the pleasure of shooting my own film, wrote it, directed it, and I also did everything in post-production from sound design. I scored their own film. I did ADR. It was my very first time for both. Edited the whole film, and actually, it only took us maybe a month to film it. But it took me almost a year to actually edit the film in its entirety. And I still wasn't happy the way it turned out. Sadly enough, one of my main actors ended up moving to LA while we were in the middle of post-production, so we couldn't call him back for reshoots. So it posed a lot of different problems, but that's just to give you guys an example. I've been through the process. I'm a filmmaker. I love everything about film. I've been through the process, and it takes a while. It would have taken me longer than a year if I didn't feel rushed, because we put out a few trailers, and on one of the trailers we actually put a release date. So I kind of gave myself a timeline. I was saying, okay, I'm going to release the film there. But enough about me. With Tommy Sotomayor, this documentary, you have to realize that he's not just doing this. He also has a radio show. He also does YouTube. I love both. I've never personally been on his show, but I check out his live shows on YouTube. I just listen to them when I'm on the drive to drop my sons off to school and everything, or if I'm on the road headed to a job or out of town or stuff like that. I'm always listening to Tommy Sotomayor's stuff. So you have to understand, this man's busy. He has a business to maintain. I myself have experience. I'm a business owner myself as well. So he has a business to maintain. So pretty much he has to find time to work on his film and manage his other business, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people wouldn't want to go without hearing Tommy Sotomayor for a week on his radio show. So those are other things to factor in. Also, why would he need to do a Kickstarter for the second time in order to raise money for film? A lot of people don't understand films are expensive. I was lucky enough, I had all my gear and I wrote the film in a way towards I wouldn't have to spend a lot of money on props or locations or permits for that matter. But that's just the kind of filmmaker I am. I learned a lot from Robert Rodriguez, one of my favorite filmmakers, and we learned to shoot films on a budget. Mr. Thomas Sotomayor has to set up interviews with people who I would only dream about meeting. So, I mean, it's a lot of things that go into it. Not making excuses, but I'm just letting you guys know how it is when you're shooting a film. I see a lot of people commenting. They've never shot a film. They don't know anything about it. They're just the viewers. That's not disrespecting any viewers or the audience members, but I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that go on that you really don't know about. Granted, there might be a guy that can shoot a film and edit it in under a year and get the film out to you. I congratulate him. A lot of people are big fans of the Hidden Colors. I watched the first 2 Hidden Colors. He pumped out the documentaries fairly quick, I see. But I mean, it's unfair to compare this man to Thomas Sotomayor. Both of them 2 different documentaries, pretty much 2 different timelines. You can't compare one project to another. That's ridiculous, So I just wanted to give my take on that and let you guys know all the different stuff that goes behind it. It's time consuming, especially if you're doing everything by yourself. It's not like Mr. Sotomayor has a production company backing him, somewhere like Fox or Lionsgate. If that were the case, you'd probably see Fatherless America you'd probably see Fatherless America in 2015, I assure you. But that's not the case. So I just wanted to talk about that. With my time with Mr. Sotomayor was actually pretty cool. I got to meet him, ask some questions. I thought it was really, really cool. I actually kind of felt like a fan. I've never been like that way when I'm working for someone, but it was actually a pleasure. So, thank you again. But yeah, I just wanted to address that. And also second, I'd say if you really don't have, if you can't dispute anyone's argument, just really don't say anything at all. I think it's pretty ridiculous that men that are, 20 years my elder are making videos calling this man crispy. And it's, for a group of people who say they care about the, next generation of black people, it doesn't really show. How can you call a grown man crispy and then the younger generation is seeing this happen? They're going to think that it's okay to call any black person who has a difference of opinion crispy or a coon. I'm not gonna, I would never tell my sons that it's okay to call somebody crispy just because you agree with it. I would never tell my sons to call anyone coon just because, I don't know, they're not picking Democrat next year. I think it's quite sad. I really don't understand it, but that's just my opinion. You can't really put down anyone. You can dispute their arguments if you have a valid argument, you can dispute that. By all means, do that. But I'd love to see someone dispute his arguments without actually, name calling. I think we're a little bit too old for that, but that's just me. He's a grown behind man, and most of the men that are coming at him are grown men, which is, makes me kind of, scratch my head. But I mean, that's just me. But anyways, I enjoyed working with him. Hopefully hopefully we'll link up again to work more on the documentary. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to share my thoughts on the film itself, giving my thoughts on it from the perspective of an actual filmmaker, not a troll online who's just saying, hey, when's that film coming out? I understand. There's been film favorites of mine that I had to wait years for, maybe director pulled out, it's pushed back or anything, everything happens, so you have to take that into account. I'm not saying give them excuses, but most of the people that are complaining either A, didn't donate at all, either the first campaign or the second campaign. So I say that, hey, your opinion is already invalid, if you didn't bother donating. And then 2, you just simply dislike them. But excuse me, my son is outside. But anyways, yeah, I guess I'm gonna wrap this video up and somebody woke up. I'm going to wrap this video up. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I wanted to get my take on Mr. Sotomayor. He's a personal favorite of mine. I love his work. So anyways, hope he sees this video and yeah, see you guys later.